All right, take me out to the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome to the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network for History Maker Baseball. My name is Dave Little, and we are coming to you live from the Dave Cave with semifinal action in the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament as the 2003 Chicago White Sox visit the 2010 Cincinnati Reds. The White Sox took an opening game 1-0 lead in the series on Saturday on Friday night in a game that was interrupted by home issues and finished up offline, but the White Sox won that game 5-4 on a triple by Miguel Olivo, followed by an RBI single from Aaron Rowand in the 7th inning. Tom Gordon came on to record a 2-inning save for the White Sox to preserve the 5-4 margin of victory. So tonight we're back with game number 2, and it will once again be an even matchup of starting pitching, as it will be Mark Buehrle in his 4.14 ERA for Chicago, taking on Mike Leake, who comes in at 4.23 on the season. Your hot batter for Chicago tonight is Carlos Lee, who went 2 for 5 with a home run in Game 1 of the series. Frank Thomas went 0 for 3, and he'll be your cold guy tonight for the White Sox. For the Reds, Drew Stubbs went 2 for 3 with a homer and 2 runs batted in. He's your hot guy tonight. And the cold guy is Brandon Phillips, the leadoff hitter, who went 0 for 5. Both teams come into the game still semi-harmonious after the pregame dice rolls. The game day charts were not kind to Chicago, as once again they lost a player to injury for this game. It will be Tony Graffinino sitting out. Jose Valentin returns to the lineup to play shortstop in the absence of Graffinino. The Reds got a break from the game day charts, as Scott Rowland is also going to be a hot batter tonight. And the weather here at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati is neutral. The dimensions of Great American Ballpark are small for both lefties and righties, and the ballpark is made of grass. Your umpires for tonight's contest: at home plate, the one and only Rob Mr. Excitement. Clinton Parks is your first base umpire. Clinton had the plate in Game 1 of the series and had some controversy around the strike zone in what turned out to be a big play for Chicago, as Joey Votto was called out on a controversial bases-loaded strikeout that when Votto could have walked in a run to tie the game. But Clinton Parks stood his ground, and he is the first base umpire tonight, and he is not receiving a happy reception from the fans here in Cincinnati. I.D. Jester is your second base umpire tonight, and rounding out the crew at third is Bobby Catalano. Now for your starting lineups. For the visiting White Sox, Aaron Rowand leads off and plays center field. Carlos Lee bats second and plays left field. Maglio Ordonez is your number 3 hitter and the right fielder. The cleanup hitter is designated hitter Frank Thomas, who is the cold guy tonight. Joe Crede will bat fifth and play third base. Paul Konerko, the first baseman, bats sixth. Batting seventh and playing second base tonight, D'Angelo Jimenez. Miguel Olivo, who gave the White Sox a spark in Game 1, is your number 8 batter and catcher for the White Sox here tonight. And returning to the lineup, shortstop Jose Valentin, batting ninth. For the Reds, Brandon Phillips is your leadoff hitter, playing second base. Playing first base is Joey Votto, batting second. Scott Rowland, a hot batter tonight thanks to the game day charts, bats third and plays third. Cleanup hitter is Jay Bruce in right field. Ramon Hernandez is catching and batting fifth. Batting sixth, the hot-hitting center fielder Drew Stubbs. Number 7, the DH Johnny Gomes. Number 8, Orlando Cabrera at shortstop. And Chris Heisey gets the start in left field tonight against the left-handed Mark Buehrle. He'll be batting ninth. From the bullpen standpoint, the Reds have everybody available. Nick Massett will be limited to 1 inning. Everybody else can go at least 3 innings. tonight if needed. And it's going to be all hands on deck for the Reds because it is an elimination game. For the White Sox, Kelly Wunsch is not available tonight, having pitched 3 nights in a row for a total of 4 innings. Tom Gordon can go 2 innings. Damaso Marte can go 2 innings. The rest of the guys can go at least 3. So those are your particulars for tonight. The players have taken the field. Rob exclamation point says play ball, and this game is underway with Aaron Rowan standing in to face Mike Leake. The opening pitch to Rowan is a 1-2-5. Is Leake a struggler? No, he is not. Is Rowan patient? No. Is he a whiffer? The decider die says yes. And Rowan strikes out to begin the ball game. Swung right through that breaking ball from Leake. And that brings Carlos Lee to the plate, tonight's hot hitter for the White Sox. Lee takes a look at a 3-3-4. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? No, neither of these guys tonight are aces or stars. Is the batter a sad sack? No. Is the batter eager? The decider die says yes, and the result is a ground out, and that will be a comebacker to Mike Leake, who flips it over to Joey Votto for the second out of the inning. And that brings up the number 3 hitter, Maglio Ordonez, for Chicago. The pitch to Ordonez is a 1-4-5. The pitcher is not a struggler, so the result of that play is a ground out to third base to end the inning. So 3 up and 3 down for the White Sox, as the Reds come to bat with the score 0-0. Brandon Phillips to lead things off for Cincinnati. He is your cold batter tonight once again. He takes a look at a 2-4-4 from Buehrle. Is Buehrle an ace? No. Is Phillips a champion? No. Is he a whiffer? The decider die says yes, and it's another leadoff strikeout. So both leadoff batters go down swinging here in the top of the first, and that brings Joey Votto to the plate. Votto takes a look at a 3-5-6. Pitcher and batter the same? Yes, they are. It's the lefty against the left-hand batter, so Votto goes down swinging. And with 2 outs, the hot-hitting Scott Rowland comes to the plate. Rowland takes a look at a 1-5-6. Is he a whiffer? The decider die says yes, and that is a strikeout. So Mark Buehrle comes out and strikes out the side here in the first inning for Chicago. And quickly we move on to the second. And Frank Thomas to lead things off for Chicago. 4-6-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher a control pitcher? The decider die says no. Is the batter a home run king or a slugger? He is a slugger, and that is going to go as a strikeout. So Thomas was looking at the fences here in the small Cincinnati Reds ballpark, but he swings through strike 3, and he will grab some pine, in the words of White Sox announcer Kenny Harrelson. Next up is Joe Crede, third baseman for the White Sox. Fine ball player, excellent defender. 4-5-6 is the pitch to Crede. Is he patient? No. And the result is a fly out to center field. Gold-rated center field Drew Stubbs makes that catch for the second out. And that takes us to our team chemistry chart. And as you recall from the top of the broadcast, both teams are semi-harmonious here tonight. And on a roll of 2-5, do we have pitching team dissonance? No. And that results in a fly out to right field. Jay Bruce moves under that one and makes the play. And quickly again, the White Sox are retired on the fly out to Jay Bruce. All right, on we go to the bottom of the second here in the Great American Ballpark in downtown Cincinnati, right on the banks of the Ohio River. Beautiful setting for a baseball stadium. 1-4-6 is the pitch from Buehrle. Is Buehrle a flash? No. Is Bruce a champion? No. And that's a ground out to second base. So both pitchers getting it done here so far tonight, as the catcher, Ramon Hernandez, comes to the plate for Cincinnati. Hernandez takes a look at a 3-4-5. Does he have a good eye? No. So that is going to go as another strikeout. Buehrle is just mowing them down tonight left and right. And that will take us to our baseball right now chart. As Hernandez strikes out. So we're here in the second inning. Buehrle is now semi-hot as a result of the strikeout. Drew Stubbs is your batter, and he's a hot hitter tonight. And the pitch is a 4-6. Do we have a hot pitcher? The decider die says yes. And so he baffles the batter with a called third strike. So Buehrle has struck out 5 of the first 6 Reds batters here tonight. He is smoking. And neither team has yet to achieve a base runner as we head to the top of the third inning. And the White Sox will send the bottom of the order to the plate. Jimenez, Olivo, and Valentin. D'Angelo Jimenez takes a look at a 2-4-6. Is the pitcher a control pitcher? The decider die says yes. And that is a ground out back to the mound. Mike Leake makes the play. Flips it over to first for the out. Mike Leake, an excellent athlete. In fact, he is a very, very good hitter. If we were playing this in National League rules, he is a semi-hero, semi-champion hitter. He was known to have a little pop in his bat, and he was also known to be used as a pinch hitter routinely in his time with Cincinnati. He has since moved on to, last I recall, San Diego possibly. He's kind of bounced around since being traded away from the Reds. With one out now, Miguel Olivo is your batter. And the role is a 5-5-5. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a scrapper? No. And that is a home run to left field. Miguel Olivo breaks out the lumber once again. And for the second straight night, a big extra base hit from the Chicago catcher. And it is now a 1-0 ball game in favor of the visiting White Sox, as there is some angst here in the stands at the Great American Ballpark. Next to the plate, Jose Valentin. The pitch to Valentin is a 1-5-5. Is he a home run king? Oh, the decider die says no, so he will not get the home run. He will hit a fly out to center field. He got a good bit of that one, but just got under it a little bit. And Drew Stubbs will run under that one to make the catch. So Leake serving up some cookies here in the bottom of the third. Excuse me, the top of the third. But with 2 outs now and the base is still empty, we go back to the top of the order for the leadoff hitter, Aaron Rowand. The pitch to Rowand is a 1-1-5. Is the batter fresh? Yes, he is, and that will be a pop out to the shortstop, Cabrera, to end the inning. But not before the White Sox get on the board on the solo home run by Miguel Olivo. And as we head to the bottom of the third, it is now a 1-0 ball game. Bottom of the order for the Reds with the designated hitter Johnny Gomes to lead things off for Cincinnati. The pitch to Gomes is a 2-4-5. Is he a hero? He is a semi-hero, and the decider die says yes. So Gomes will lead off the third inning with a base hit up the middle. Nice piece of hitting there by Johnny Gomes to give the Reds their first base runner of the night. And that brings to the plate Orlando Cabrera. And Brandon Baker is here at the ballpark. Good to see you here, Brandon. In case you're just joining us, we had a solo home run in the top of the third by White Sox catcher Miguel Olivo to stake Mark Buehrle and the Sox to a 1-0 lead here in Game 2 of the series. Cabrera takes a look at a 1-4-6. Is the pitcher a flash? No. Is the batter a champion? No. The result of that play is a ground out to second base, and on a lead die of 1, that will go as a 4-6-3 double play. So quickly the base runner is erased, and with 2 outs and the base is empty, it will be left fielder Chris Heisey coming to the plate. Heisey standing in, takes a look at a 1-2-6. Is Buehrle fresh? Yes, he is, and that will be a line drive out to second base to end the inning. So after 3 complete, it remains the White Sox 1, the Reds nothing. And it will be 2, 3, and 4 for the White Sox here in the top of the 4th. Carlos Lee to start things off. He is your hot hitter for tonight. And on a roll of 1, 3, 4, do we have a gold catcher? No. Do we have a champion hitter? No. We're going to go to the outfield drama chart. And on the outfield drama chart, the roll is a 3-5. Do we have a left fielder gold? We do not. That's Chris Heisey. He's a neutral fielder. So that will be a looping fly ball that drops into the gap and goes for a double. So another extra base hit for the White Sox as Lee leads off the second inning with a double. And he will be standing at second base for the number 3 hitter Maglio Ordonez as we go to the team chemistry chart. And on the team chemistry chart for Ordonez, it is a 4-4. Do we have pitching team dissonance? No. And the end result is a deep fly out to center field. Stubbs makes a fine running catch on that ball for the first out of the inning as Carlos Lee returns to second base. And up next for the White Sox will be Frank Thomas. He is the cold batter tonight. And Thomas looks at a 4-5-5. Is the pitcher a flash? No. Is the batter a home run king? He is a semi-home run king, but this time the decider die says no. And the end result of this roll is a ground out to first base. We'll score that 3-1 on the out and move Carlos Lee to third since the ball was hit behind him. And with 2 outs now, and Lee perched at third base, your batter will be Joe Creedy. Mike Leake does not want to give up a second run to the White Sox in this situation, particularly the way that Buehrle has been mowing down his Reds teammates. 2-4-5 is the roll. Nothing on the pitcher's column. Is the batter a hero? He is a semi-hero, but the decider die says no. And the result is a pop out to second base. And the White Sox failed to convert the leadoff double, and through 3 1/2, it is still a 1-0 ball game. And after that last play, we will begin the next inning on the player experience chart. Brandon Phillips is a semi-icon. Mark Buehrle, at this point in his career, is neutral. And on the roll, it is a 1-2. Do we have an icon batter? Yes, we do. The decider die says yes. Draws on experience, launches a highlight reel blast to left field for a fence check. All right. Phillips is a semi-slugger. The decider die says he is a full slugger. So he has the opportunity for extra bases on this blast. And on a roll of 2, it is going to go for a double. Phillips pulled a line shot down the left field line. Not quite enough height to get up and over the wall, but off the wall for a double. And Phillips chugs into second base with nobody out, and he carries the tying run. And that brings Joey Votto to the plate for the Reds. Votto struck out his first time up. Lefty against left-hand batter. As Buehrle winds and delivers, the pitch is a 3-5-6. Same as last time. Is the pitcher and the batter the same? Yes, they are, and that is another strikeout. So Buehrle has whiffed Votto twice tonight, and that brings to the plate the hot-hitting Scott Rowland with a chance to get the run home. The roll is a 2-3-3. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a slugger? He is a full slugger, and that ball is deep to left field. That ball is high, and it is gone. A 2-run shot for Scott Rowland, and the Reds have taken a 2-1 lead. Much joy in the stands here in Cincinnati as Rowland takes one out of the yard just under the scoreboard in left field. And that will score Brandon Phillips ahead of him and put the Reds up 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. And with still 1 out and now the base is empty, Jay Bruce comes to the plate. The pitch to Bruce is a 1-1-3. Is the pitcher an ace or dynamic? He is not. Is the batter a slugger? He is a semi-slugger, but the decider die says no. And the result of that roll is a single to center field. Bruce takes one back up the middle. He will pull in at first base, and that will bring Ramon Hernandez to the plate. Buehrle cruised through the first 3 innings. Here in the 4th, he's run into trouble. And now he winds and throws a 3-5-6 to Hernandez. Is the batter and pitcher the same? No, this time it's the righty Hernandez. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? No. And the result of this roll is a single down the third baseline. Bruce is a stoic runner, so he will pull up at second base. Let's see what the stoic runner on first base advances only to second base on any single. So yes, Bruce advances 1 base on the single by Hernandez. And now we have to check the status of Mark Buehrle. Let's see, single, home run. So Buehrle is now a semi-struggler, and if he gives up an on-base to Drew Stubbs, he will become a full struggler. So some nervous energy in the White Sox bullpen as all of a sudden the wheels have fallen off for Mark Buehrle. And the hot-hitting Drew Stubbs comes to the plate. And on a roll of 2-4-4, is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a champion? No. Is the batter a whiffer? Yes, that is a strikeout. So Stubbs strikes out swinging, which is a big out for Buehrle because it gets him out of semi-struggler status. There are still 2 men on and 2 men out as the designated hitter Johnny Gomes steps to the plate. Still with a chance to do some damage here against Buehrle in the top of the in the bottom of the 4th. 4-5-6 is the roll. Is the hitter patient? No. The result is a fly out to center field, and that will end the inning. So the Reds leave 2 men on base, but not until they have already scored 2 runs and take a 2-1 lead as we head to the top of the 5th, with Paul Konerko leading off for Chicago. And for this at bat, we go to the team chemistry chart. Both teams semi-harmonious today. And on a roll of 4-5, do we have batting team harmony? The decider die says yes. So the focused batter waits on his pitch and draws the walk. Leadoff walk for Konerko brings D'Angelo Jimenez to the plate. Jimenez takes a look at a 2-5-6. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter a champion or patient? He is semi-patient, but the decider die says no, and that will take us over to the infield drama chart. What is going to happen here? 4-6 is the roll. Is the shortstop gold? No, he is not. Quick recovery from a booted ball, but he boots the ball, and the batter is safe at first on the error. Goodness gracious, that's an error for Orlando Cabrera, as he is unable to come up with that one, and that puts runners at first and second now, still with nobody out in the inning. And that brings to the plate Miguel Olivo. This guy is a pistol. He homered earlier in tonight's ball game and had that big triple in game 1 of the series. This takes us to the player experience chart, though. And this will be interesting. Both Leake and Olivo are prospects. So we'll see what happens here. And the roll is 5-6. Do we have an icon pitcher? No. So the result of this is going to be back to the infield drama chart. And hopefully the infield drama chart will be kinder to the Reds this time than it was in the previous at-bat. This time it is a 1-2. Is the right fielder iron? No, not at all. That's Jay Bruce. He is a gold-rated fielder. So he makes the catch of the routine flyout for the first out of the inning. The runners return to their respectable bases, and your one-out batter will be Jose Valentin. I forget who said the runners return to their respectable bases. That was somebody back in the 40s, one of the famous play-by-play guys. I remember reading that. For you grammarians out there, we all know that it's respective bases, but respectable bases is something that came from somebody in the early days of radio baseball. Here's Valentin with 2 on and now 1 man out, and he takes a look at a leaner. So we're going to roll this guy again. We're going to roll all of them again because when I threw the leaner, it knocked over one of the other dice. So we're just going to start the whole thing all over again. And this time we get a 2-2-6. Is the batter hit by the pitch? The decider die says yes, and that is going to load the bases. Goodness gracious. Aaron Rowan comes to the plate with the bases loaded now, still 1 out. Reds will play the infield back at normal depth in hopes of perhaps turning a double play if they can get a ground ball off the bat of Rowan. Here's the pitch to Rowan. It is a 4-5-5. Is the pitcher a flash? He is a semi-flash. The decider die says yes, and that's a strikeout. That is a huge pitch for Mike Leake in this situation, to get the strikeout of Rowan and force the runners to hold, but he's not out of the fire yet, because up at the plate now is the hot-hitting Carlos Lee, who homered in Game 1 of the series. 3-3-5 is the roll. Is the pitcher wild? No, he is not. Is the batter a sad sack? Absolutely not. He's the hot guy. So that is a single to right. And on a lead die of 3, runners advance 2 bases on any hit. So that will score both Jimenez and Konerko. And now the Chicago White Sox go back on top. It's a 3-2 ball game. So Konerko scores. D'Angelo Jimenez scores. Jose Valentin moves to third. And based upon the 3-3-5 chart reading here, Lee can now steal second base. So he will go to second base on the steal. And there are still 2 outs. Ordonez is your batter. And let's check on Leake. Leake is not yet a struggler. And in fact, he struck out the previous hitter, so he has a ways to go yet before he becomes a struggler. But Ordonez is your 2-out hitter. And now the roll is a 2-3-3. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a slugger? Yes, he is, and that is a home run to left field. My goodness, Maglio Ordonez gets a hold of one, and that is a 3-run Johnson for the White Sox. And it is suddenly a 6-2 ball game, and that is a 5-run inning for the White Sox. And that makes Mike Leake a full struggler. He will stay on to face Frank Thomas to end the inning, but if Thomas gets on, it's going to be bye-bye to Mike Leake. The pitch is a 1-5-6. Is Thomas a Is Thomas a whiffer? Yes, he is. That is a strikeout. So Leake gets the out of Thomas to end the inning, but not until the damage was done, as the White Sox score 5 runs on the big 3-run shot by Maglio Ordonez, following the 2-run single by Carlos Lee. So the heart of the order does the damage for Chicago, and the Reds now have their backs against the wall as they come to bat in the bottom of the 5th, now trailing by a 6-2 score. Orlando Cabrera to lead things off against Buehrle, as the Reds need to get some offense going. And the pitch is a 1-4-4. Is the pitcher a flash? No. Is the batter a hero? He is a semi-hero, but the decider die says no. And that will be a ground out to shortstop. And that brings Chris Heisey to the plate with 1 out and the base is empty. Heisey stands in against Buehrle. The pitch is a 1-1-3. Is the batter a slugger? No, he's not. That will be a single to center field for Heisey. So the Reds get a base runner, and they need a lot more of those. As the cold batting Brandon Phillips comes to the plate. Phillips doubled his last time up. And now on a roll of 4-5-6. Is the batter patient? No. The result is a fly out to center field. So that will be the 2nd out of the inning. as Heisey returns to first base, and that brings to the plate Joey Votto and takes us to the team chemistry chart. Both teams semi-harmonious, and the pitch to Votto is a 5-5. Do we have pitching team dissonance? No. And the result of the play will be a foul out to the catcher. So Miguel Olivo makes the play on that ball to end the inning, as Votto is retired for the third out. And we go now to the top of the sixth inning with the score of the White Sox 6 and the Reds 2. And the Reds need a relief pitcher to come in to replace Mike Leake, who gave up the 5 runs in the 5th. And let's see what we got here. Let's see, Leake pitches 5 complete. If we go to a game 3, it will be Bronson Arroyo for the Reds. But let's see what we've got here in the bullpen. Coming up is righty-righty, switch hitter righty. So we would like to bring out a righty. Let's see, Jordan Smith is available for 3 innings if needed. I've got 2 very, very good lefties in the Reds bullpen. But I don't think there's a single left-handed bat in the White Sox lineup. But still, an ace is better than, semi-ace is better than nothing. And Arthur Rhodes has not pitched in a while. So we're going to bring Arthur Rhodes into the ball game. He is a lefty, but he is a semi-ace, flash, and semi-control. So Leake comes out after 5 innings to be replaced by Arthur Rhodes. And Rhodes will face third baseman Joe Creedy to lead things off here in the top of the 6th. The pitch to Creedy. 6-6-6. Is the pitcher an ace? The decider die says no. Is the batter a sad sack? He is not. And this will be a deep drive and a glove check. It does not say which field that we're going to. Creedy is a semi-slugger, but that doesn't matter on this chart. And the glove check is on the actual chart in terms of what field it goes to. So we will roll both dice here. On a roll of 1 is the right fielder Gold. Jay Bruce is a full Gold rated fielder, so he leaps up and makes the catch at the wall. Jay Bruce goes over the wall to take one away from Joe Creedy on the glove check, and that is an exciting play and a big play here in the top of the 6th. Yes, Creedy did his best to try and get one out of the yard, and Jay Bruce went up and got it. So put a star by that one in your playbook, and it remains a 6-2 ball game. Momentary joy in the Reds fans here at the Great American Ballpark, but they're still facing a 4-run deficit and facing elimination if they can't do something about that here in the next 4 innings. Paul Konerko is next up at the plate. 4-4-6 is the pitch. Is the pitcher a star? No. Is the batter a sad sack, utility, or patient? He is semi-utility, but the decider die says no. So instead of a called third strike, Konerko delivers a single to right. He'll be held up there at first, and that takes us to our player experience chart as D'Angelo Jimenez comes to the plate. Arthur Rhodes is a full icon. I think Arthur Rhodes was born a full icon. He pitched until he was about 86 years old. D'Angelo Jimenez at this point in his career is neutral on the experience chart. 3-6 is the roll. Do we have a prospect pitcher? No. And the result of that will be a fly out to left field. Chris Heisey runs under that one and makes the catch with much less drama than what we saw on the first out of the inning. And that brings to the plate Miguel Olivo. Olivo stands in against Arthur Rhodes. The pitch is a 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? He's a semi-ace. The decider die says that's a strikeout. So Chicago held scoreless in the top of the sixth, despite the dramatics of the drive by Creedy. We go to the bottom of the sixth now. It remains a 6-2 ball game, and Mark Buehrle is still out there going strong. As hot-hitting Scott Rowland leads off for the Reds. Pitch to Rowland is a 1-3-4. Is there a gold catcher? No. Is there a champion batter? No. The result is outfield drama. Let's see what the White Sox can do out there. 6-6 is the roll. Is the right fielder iron? The right fielder tonight is Maglio Ordonez, and he is semi-iron, and the decider die says yes. So he misplays that ball, and it drops in for a double. So the Reds get a break from the decider die that time, as the ball falls in for a leadoff double for Scott Rowland. And that takes us now to the team chemistry chart, with Jay Bruce coming to the plate. The Reds fans are starting to clap and stomp their feet and hope to get something going here by way of a rally to cut into this 4-run deficit. And the roll is a leaner. We'll try that one again. This time it is a 4-6. Do we have pitching team dissonance? No. So we will not see a walk. Instead, we will see infield drama. So the fielders for the White Sox are going to be tested again here on the infield drama chart. And this one is going to get on a 3-4 to the third baseman. Is the third baseman gold? Joe Creedy is semi-gold, but the decider die says no. And that's going to go for a base hit. Creedy cannot make the diving stop of the grounder headed into left field. That goes as a base hit. And on a lead die of 3, runners advance 2 bases on any hit, single or double, regardless of whether they are normal or stoic. So Rowland will score on that play. He is a stoic runner, but the result of this play was a full 2-base advance. So Creedy made the dive. It hit off his glove and bounded into short left field, and it took left fielder Carlos Lee a while to catch up to that ball. And Scott Rowland was chugging it all the way as he comes home to score with the third Cincinnati Reds run of the night. Score that a single off the glove of Rowland, off the glove of Creedy, as Rowland comes around to score. And Bruce holds up at first base with the RBI single. And that will bring to the plate Ramon Hernandez. Mark Buehrle starting to toil a little bit. If he gives up another on base, that would make him a semi-struggler. And in the 6th inning, I think it would be reasonable to go to the bullpen in that instance. So here's Hernandez. 2-5-6. Is the pitcher a struggler? Not yet. Is the batter champion or patient? No. And we go back to the infield drama chart. So let's see if the White Sox can make a defensive play on the third try. This time the roll is a 1-5, and that is a shortstop check. Is the shortstop iron? The shortstop tonight is Jose Valentin. He is semi-gold, so he is not an iron shortstop. Smooth grab of the bouncing ball for a ground out. And on a lead die of 1, that's going to be a double play ball. So very nice double play turned by the White Sox. 6-4-3. And there are 2 men out now, and the base is empty as hot-hitting Drew Stubbs comes to the plate. So a promising inning cut short by the double play ball. And Buehrle lives to face Drew Stubbs. And the roll is a 1-1-3, and that is the slugger roll. So once again, is the batter a slugger? He's a semi-slugger. The decider die says yes, and Stubbs a double to left field. Stubbs will be held up at second. And Johnny Gomes comes to the plate. We just got an out there, so Buehrle is not yet a struggler. And they're going to let him pitch to Gomes. But if the tying run comes to the plate, then Buehrle will be pulled. Tired Chicago bullpen out there. So they're going to try and Buehrle through the 6th inning, nursing this 3-run lead. 1-3-6. Is Buehrle an ace? No. Is the batter a whiffer? He is a whiffer, and that is a strikeout. So Buehrle arches his bat, gets the strikeout of Gomes to end the inning. The Reds do score 1 to cut into the lead, and after 6 complete, it's a 6-3 lead for Chicago. And that will be it for Buehrle. For the Reds, they are going to let Arthur Rhodes go another inning. He will be semi-fresh this inning, facing 9, 1, and 2 in the batting order, with Jose Valentin on first to lead it off. The pitch to Valentin is a 1-4-6. Is Rhodes a flash? He is a full flash, and Valentin goes down looking. Rhodes blew that one by him, and that brings to the plate leadoff hitter Aaron Rowand. 1-4-4 is the pitch to Rowand. Is the batter a flash? Is the pitcher a flash? Yes, he is, and that could be a strikeout. Although the umpire chart says questionable or lenient umpire calls ball 4. Rob exclamation point is the lenient umpire, and for the second straight game, the umpiring does not favor the Cincinnati Reds. As Rowand took a look at a very, very good pitch, somehow let it go, and Rob exclamation point says take your base. Oh my goodness, goodness gracious. The Boo Birds are out again here in Cincinnati as hot-hitting Carlos Lee comes to the plate with a runner on first and 1 man out. The pitch to Lee is a 1-3-5, and that takes us to the mini charts. With the red 1 and the black 3, that takes us to memorable plays in the field. As the This Week in Baseball highlights come out, and the roll is a 4-4, which takes us to highlight reel B, which is rare events. What's going to happen on the rare events chart? That's what makes this game fun. I know some of the guys don't care much for History Maker Baseball because of all the attribute checks, but this game tells great stories. And now on a roll of 4-6, an alert base runner takes advantage of an inattentive opponent and steals a base. So Aaron Rowand swipes second base, and Carlos Lee remains at the plate. All right, so the random events charts, once again, help Chicago here tonight. No, we want him to go to second on the steal. And now with out and Rowand now at second base, Carlos Lee returns to the plate. The pitch to Lee now is a 1-5-5. Is Lee a home run king? The decider die says yes, and that is another deep drive up and high and gone and out of here. Carlos Lee takes Arthur Rhodes out of the park, and it is an 8-3 ball game. Oops. Let's undo that. He was not hit by the pitch. He hit a home run. There we go. 8-3 is your score now as Lee goes deep off Arthur Rhodes. My goodness. There is no joy in Cincinnati tonight as the White Sox have busted this one open. 1-2-4 is the roll. Is Rhodes a control pitcher? He is semi-control. The decider die says yes. Rhodes gets the ground out to Cabrera for the second out, and that brings the cold-hitting Frank Thomas to the plate. 2-2-3 is the pitch to Thomas. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter a slugger or utility? Yes, he is. He is a slugger. He's also a whiffer, so that will be a strikeout to end the inning. But once again, the damage has been done as 2 more runs score, and the White Sox now go up 8-3. And gosh, with a 5-run lead and 8-1 coming up for the Reds. I'm tempted to let Buehrle go another inning and save the White Sox bullpen. Yeah, we're going to let Buehrle start the 7th. He has no more freshness remaining. But with a 5-run lead and the Chicago White Sox coasting towards the final round of the best team I've ever seen tournament, they're going to ride Buehrle for another inning. That will be all for Rhodes as he has used up his freshness. Buehrle winds and delivers a 2-3-3. Is he an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a slugger? No. And that's a fly out to center field. So the White Sox bullpen has gone quiet. And ID Jester is here and he's got some wisecracks. Good to see you, man. If the pitcher has a tattoo, then go to the rare play chart. If not, see if the batter has a white cat. Yada, yada, yada. All right, ID. Good to have you here in the ballpark. I need a little levity with my Reds getting their teeth kicked in. So with 1 out now and the base is empty, here's left fielder Chris Heisey. 2-4-4 is the roll. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a champion? No. Is he a whiffer? Yes, and that's a strikeout. And with 2 outs, that brings cold-hitting Brandon Phillips to the plate. And the roll is a 3-5-6. Pitcher and the batter the same, not this time. Is he a utility or a sad sack? No. And Brandon Phillips delivers a base hit. And that brings Joey Votto to the plate. And Buehrle has had Joey Votto's number here tonight. 2 strikeouts and a flyout. 0 for 3 on the night. Votto desperate to get something going here against the lefty Buehrle. And this time it is a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? Yes, and it is plate drama. Plate drama for the White Sox. The drama charts were not kind to the White Sox in the last inning. Let's see what's going to happen here. The roll is a 3-6. Is the catcher iron? No. If the catcher iron, that would be a passed ball. Otherwise, the catcher gathers in a low sinking curveball for a ball, and that takes us to our umpire mini charts. And with the runner on first, the umpire mini chart on a 2-6. Do we have a respected umpire at home? No. So the batter hits a double. The base runner breaks for home. The respected umpire calls the base runner out. Other umpires call the base runner safe. So this time, Rob, exclamation point, goes with the safe call. And that will score Phillips from first base on the double. So in play, double for Votto. Phillips comes around to score. Votto pulls in at second. And at this point, we are going to go ahead and pull Buehrle. We've been on the verge of pulling him all night. He's given up the 2 hits. And it is now an 8-4 ball game. So Buehrle has done his job. He gave him 6 2/3 innings. And now with hot-hitting Scott Rowland coming to the plate, it's time for a call to the bullpen for the Chicago White Sox. And let's see what they have available. So Buehrle goes 6.2. And let's see. From the right-hand side, we have, oh gosh, a bunch of stiffs. Let's see. Kelly Wunsch is unavailable. Damaso Marte is a lefty, and he is an ace, and he can go up to 2 innings, and Tom Gordon can go up to 2 innings, but it's still a 5-run lead. So they are going to send out Billy Koch, K-O-C-H. I think Billy Koch. I think this is Billy Koch, if I remember correctly from back in the day. Although I listened to the Digital Dice podcast this weekend about the Action PC sports games. The creator of those games is pronounced K-O-C-H, but that's pronounced Cook. But I believe this is Billy Koch. ID Jester asks, how many seasons of History Maker Baseball do you own? Believe it or not, ID Jester, I own no seasons of History Maker Baseball. You get 4 sample teams with the original purchase. The teams I'm playing with here tonight are teams that I created on my own, based upon teams that I have seen in their home ballparks throughout my baseball journeys. So there is a runner at second base, Votto, 2 men out here in the bottom of the 7th as we welcome our Red Sox fan to the ballpark. Billy Koch is on to face the hot-hitting Scott Rowland, and because he is a reliever coming in the middle of the inning, he will have the ace quality for the first batter he faces. So the pitch from Koch to Rowland is a 3-3-3. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? No. That's a triple to the gap. So Rowland hits one into the gap. Aaron Rowand and Carlos Lee kick it around for a while as Rowland comes all the way around to third base. And Joey Votto scores the 5th run, and it's an 8-5 ball game. That brings Jay Bruce to the plate. And that's all we're going to do with Billy Koch. I forgot to replace Buehrle anyway, so I need to jump in and replace Buehrle with Koch. So we'll save that. Then we will record the triple and score Votto. And now we're going to come in with a lefty to face Jay Bruce. As, let's see, Kelly Watch is unavailable. Billy Koch goes 0-0. And the only other lefty in the bullpen is Damaso Marte. And he is a full ace to face Jay Bruce. With now Rowland perched at second, he would make it 8-6. Bruce would be the 7th run, and the tying run is now on deck for Cincinnati as they attempt to rally from a 5-run deficit. And the pitch is a 2-4-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a hero? He is a full hero. That is a single to left field, and that will score another run for the Reds. So a big 2-out rally here for the Reds is making this game interesting again. As Jay Bruce takes one the other way for the base hit off the lefty Marte. Rowland will score, and that brings Ramon Hernandez to the plate, carrying the tying run. Ramon Hernandez facing Marte. And the pitch from Marte is a 1-5-5. Is the batter a home run king? No. And that is a fly out to center field. So Hernandez gave that one a ride, but comes up just short as Aaron Rowand moves under that and at the base of the ball makes the catch to end the inning. But the Reds come back with 3 runs, and it's a ball game again, 8-6 as we head to the 8th inning. Fly out to center field. And I forgot to take Billy Koch out of the ball game. Goodness gracious, that was Marte that got the fly out to center to end the inning. There we go. Now I think we got it right. Yeah, Koch started the inning, gave up or came in for Buehrle, gave up a couple of hits, and Marte finishes the 7th for the White Sox. And now the Reds need a pitcher for the top of the 8th, as Arthur Rhodes has done his 2-inning stint and did a good job there. So 2 innings for Rhodes. And now it is the top of the 8th, and it's Creedy, Konerko, and Jimenez. Nick Massett is limited to 1 inning. Logan Ondrusek can go as many as 3. So Ondrusek will be the pitcher here to face the White Sox in the 8th. So Rhodes comes out. Ondrusek comes in. And he will face Joe Creedy, who hit that deep fly ball last time to the plate. It was flagged down as Jay Bruce went up and over the wall. to save the home run by Creedy. 1-2-3 is the pitch. Is the pitcher both flash and fresh? He is fresh, but he's semi-flash, and the decider die says no. So instead of a strikeout, we'll have a ground ball to shortstop. And I think that happened because Joe Creedy had his hat on backwards. So that's the first out of the inning, and now it is Konerko coming to the plate. 1-2-6 is the pitch. Is the pitcher fresh? Yes, he is. That's a line drive out to second base for the second out of the inning. And the switch hitting D'Angelo Jimenez comes up to face Andrusek with the bases empty and 2 men out. The pitch to Jimenez is a leaner. I'm working with this new dice tray, but I'm getting dice leaning up against the walls. So I'm just re-rolling everything when I get those leaners. 2-2-6 is the pitch. Is the batter hit by the pitch? The decider die says no. Is this the cleanup batter? No. And is he a whiffer? The decider die says yes, and that's a strikeout. So that ends the inning for Andrusek, 3 up and 3 down. And now as we go to the bottom of the 8th, it is an 8-6 ball game. Marte pitched a third of an inning. In the 7th. So he can finish this inning, but he will be semi-fresh if he comes to the mound this inning, and then Tom Gordon is available to go to the 9th. So the White Sox are hoping Marte can get through the bottom of the order here, and they can bring in their stud closer to finish it out in the person of Tom Gordon. So it's Drew Stubbs coming to the plate. He is the hot hitter tonight. And the roll is a 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? Yes, he is. That's a strikeout. So Marte strikes out Stubbs to open the bottom of the 8th. And the Reds have just 5 outs remaining, still facing this 2-run deficit with designated hitter Johnny Gomes coming to the plate. 4-6-6 is the roll. Is he a control pitcher? No. Is the batter a home run king or a slugger? The decider die says he is a slugger, and that makes that a strikeout. Otherwise, it was a ground out. So Gomes strikes out swinging, as he was known to do plenty of times. And Orlando Cabrera comes to the plate. Gomes struck out a lot. He was a horrible defensive player, but he had pop, and he had a reputation of being one of the most fiery clubhouse guys of anybody around. People loved having Johnny Gomes on their team. He would be the first one off the bench to defend his pitcher if anything happened by way of controversy, and he was a rah-rah guy if nothing else. So here's Orlando Cabrera coming to the plate. And the pitch to Cabrera is a 3-3-5. Is the pitcher wild? No, sir. Is the batter a sad sack? No, sir. That is a single to right and a stolen base. And that brings Chris Heisey to the plate. And he represents the tying run with 2 outs and Cabrera at second. Now, do we go with Gordon early? Because Gordon could go 2 innings. And it is 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. But if we bring Gordon in now, he would be pitching semi-fresh instead of fully fresh in the 9th. So we are going to let Marte face the number 9 hitter, Heisey. We'll take our chances here and save Gordon so that he can pitch the 9th inning fresh. Here's the pitch to Heisey. 2-3-3. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? He is an ace, and that's a ground out to shortstop, and that is making your manager look good. As Marte pitches a scoreless 8th, and we go to the top of the 9th now, and it is still an 8-6 lead. And Andrusek is back out on the mound for the Reds. Let's see, he pitched the 8th. Coming up in the 9th, we have Olivo, Valentin, and Rowand. So do I want to bring a fresh guy in? Yeah, we're going to bring in a fresh guy. Orlando Cabrera did not pitch, excuse me, Francisco Cordero did not pitch in Game 1 of the series. So even if he pitches tonight, he can also pitch in Game 3 if necessary. So Francisco Cordero is going to be the pitcher here in the 9th. Replacing Andrusek, and Cordero will come in fully fresh. And we'll see if that makes a difference. So Cordero on to face Miguel Olivo, who hit the big home run tonight after the big triple in Game 1. The pitch to Olivo is a 3-3-5. Is the pitcher one? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. And that is a single to right, followed by a stolen base. Miguel Olivo continues to do surprising things for the White Sox here, with the base hit followed by the steal. And quickly, the White Sox have a runner in scoring position. Olivo is a neutral runner. If he were a stoic runner, he would not have been able to steal the base. Here's Valentin against Cordero. The pitch is a 3-4-6. Is the batter eager? No. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Francisco Cordero comes in and immediately pitches himself into trouble. The first 2 men are on base, and that brings leadoff hitter Aaron Rowand to the plate. Facing off against Cordero, and that takes us to the team chemistry chart. The roll on the team chemistry chart is a 3-4. Do we have batting team harmony? The White Sox are semi-harmonious. The decider die says yes. The batter waits for his pitch and smacks a single to the outfield. On a lead die of 3, runners advance 2 bases on any hit. So that is a single for Rowand. Olivo will score. Valentin chugs over to third. And Rowand is held up at first. And that makes Francisco Cordero a semi-struggler. And we can't leave him out there in this circumstance. So Cordero is in and out of the ball game without retiring a batter. Andrusek pitched 1. Cordero pitched nothing. And now we're going to have to come with... let's see, who's up? Righty, righty, righty. It's going to have to be Jordan Smith into the ball game to replace Cordero. A very disappointing outing for Francisco Cordero. As quickly Jordan Smith is into the game. Your batter now is Carlos Lee, with runners at the corners and nobody out. And the Reds have to play the infield in to cut off that run at the plate. The pitch is a 2-3-5. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter eager? He is semi-eager, but the decider die says no. And the result is a ground out to second base. Let's check the infield playing in chart. Runners at first and third, lead die of 2. Batter out at first, runner on first to second, runner on third holds. Okay, so the ball is hit to Phillips. Phillips makes the pickup. He looks the runner back at third, then delivers the first to get the out. So it is a ground out 4-3. Valentin holds. Rowand is advanced to second base, and now there are runners at second and third with 1 man out and Maglio Ordonez at the plate. Now I think we walk Ordonez to get to Frank Thomas, who is the cold batter tonight. That sets up the double play. Ordonez is a slugger and a semi-champion in flat-out mash. So we will give up the intentional walk to load the bases. And now with Thomas at the plate, we'll play the corners in, and Cabrera and Phillips will play at double play depth as Jordan Smith hopes to induce an inning-ending ground ball off the bat of Frank Thomas. Big play coming up here. The roll is a 2-6-6. And, oh, that is that weird roll that we have seen many times. Runner on first, thrown out. And so that is going to be a pickoff. We'll score that 2-3 on the play. Jordan Smith throws one in the dirt. Thomas swings and misses. The ball bounces away from Hernandez. Ordonez wanders off the base. And Hernandez throws behind him, and alertly Joey Votto puts the tag on him for the second out of the inning. And that's just weird. But so be it. Tagged out, 2-3. And now with 2 men out, still runners at second, third. Frank Thomas is at the plate. And the infield can play back at normal depth. On the roll of a 2-2-6, 2-2-6. Is the batter hit by the pitch? The decider die says yes. So after all that, Thomas takes one off the elbow pad. And once again, the bases are loaded, and now with 2 outs, the batter is Joe Crede. ID Jester is smelling a grand slam. And on a 1-5-5, is the batter a home run king? No. Crede is a semi-slugger. If he were a home run king, that would be ID Jester's grand slam. Instead, it's a fly out to center field, and that ends the inning. A very shaky inning for the Reds bullpen. They're lucky to get out of there having only given up 1 run. But that will be a fly out to center field in your scorebook. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. The Reds need 3 to tie and 4 to win as the closer, Tom Gordon, comes into the game for Chicago. So Marte did his job for an inning and a third to finish the 7th and pitch the 8th. And Tom Gordon is now your pitcher here in the 9th. As the White Sox are getting a little excited in the dugout, trying to stay calm, but they are on the verge of making it to the finals of the best team I've ever seen tournament. If Tom Gordon can retire the Reds, but he's got the top of the order to deal with, and Brandon Phillips leading things off. 1-2-4 pitch to Phillips. Is he a control pitcher? No. Is the batter eager? He is semi-eager, and the decider die says yes, and that is a pop out to first base. Phillips got a little ahead of himself, swung at ball 4. Pops one up weakly that Konerko moves under and makes the play, and that is the first out of the inning. And now Joey Votto is on for the Reds. Votto stands in against Gordon. 3-5-6 is the roll. Is he a utility or a sack? No. And that is a base hit to right. So Votto with a clean single to right. He holds up at first base, and that brings Scott Rowland to the plate. Rowland has homered, doubled, and tripled in this game. He is a single away from the cycle, and the Reds are 1 base runner away from bringing the tying run to the plate. Pitch to Rowland. 4-4-5. Is the pitcher a workman? No. Is the batter patient? No. That's a ground out to first base. On the lead die of 4, the runner advances. So Rowland grounds out to first base. Score that one 3-1 in your playbook, and we've got to be scoring now since our Red Sox fan is here. Votto moves up to second base, and the Reds are down to their final out, with Jay Bruce coming to the plate. Bruce 3 for 4 tonight, has singled his last 3 at-bats. He takes a look at a 2-4-6. Is the pitcher control? No. Is the batter eager or sad sack? No. And Jay Bruce draws the walk. More excitement here at the Great American Ballpark. As Bruce walks to put the tying run at the plate in the person of Ramon Hernandez. Hernandez is a hero. He's a semi-whiffer. He does not have any power ratings on his card. ID Jester was smelling a grand slam. Maybe he was smelling that grand slam a half an inning too early. If Hernandez comes to get on base, that will bring Drew Stubbs to the plate with the go-ahead run, the winning run essentially, and he is the hot hitter tonight. So let's see what Hernandez can do. We're getting ahead of ourselves here as players in both dugouts are standing up. The pitch is a 3-5-6. Are the batter and the pitcher the same? Yes, they are, and that is a strikeout, and that is your ball game. Oh my goodness. Hernandez strikes out swinging. Tom Gordon records the save. And the 2003 Chicago White Sox move to the final round of the best team I've ever seen tournament, as the Reds bow out after a very tough two-game series. And the White Sox move ahead to face the 2005 San Diego Padres in the tournament final. The Padres have Jake Peavy, who has been the star of that team, and Brian Giles has been beating the cover off the ball in this tournament. And the 2003 White Sox will move in with a day to rest their bullpen. So good for them. The Padres also earned a sweep in their series. So both teams will get a day of rest for their bullpens. And it will be the 86-win White Sox as the higher seed, and the 82-win Padres will be the lower seed. So Game 1 will be in San Diego on Friday night on the channel. So, your final score tonight, Chicago White Sox 9 and the Cincinnati Reds 6. Let's take a look at your box score for tonight. We'll start with the Chicago batting. 3 hits, and 2 runs scored for Carlos Lee. So he'll once again be the hot hitter for the Reds. He homered, he drove in 4. Ordonez also homered, as well as Miguel Olivo for the White Sox. For the Reds, the offensive star was Scott Rowland, but he couldn't get anything done in the 9th. He ends up 3 for 5 with 3 runs scored and 3 runs batted in. 3 hits for Jay Bruce, 2 hits for Phillips, 2 hits for Votto. The bottom of the order, not so much, as the Reds strike out 12 times in tonight's ball game. Pitching lines for the Reds. I believe Mike Leake will be the losing pitcher. I'll have to look at the full box score. He pitched 5 and gave up 6 runs. So yeah, he will definitely be your losing pitcher tonight. The 2 runs by Arthur Rhodes didn't help. Francisco Cordero charged with a run after failing to retire a batter in his, as he faced 3 men and they all reached base. I believe Buehrle will get the victory. Again, I'm going to have to go back and look at the box score to be sure. Yeah, Buehrle pitched into the 7th, and he left the game with the lead, and the Reds didn't catch up. And Tom Gordon will get the save. All right, thank you to everybody who came in tonight. Brandon Baker, our Red Sox fan, ID Jester, needs to get his sense of smell checked because we never did get that grand slam that he was rooting for. And let's see, was anybody else in the ball game earlier? I believe that is everybody. So thank you all for watching tonight. Looking forward to seeing you again on Friday night for Game 2 of the series. May try and get this up Wednesday. I'll see. Yeah, we try and get things started on Wednesday, and that way we can finish up by the weekend. So once again, your final score tonight is the Chicago White Sox 9, the Cincinnati Reds 6. And for the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network, this is Dave Little off from the Dave Cave. That's our stream, and I am out of here.